Hello everyone, this is part 56 of What If Naruto Had Two Bloodlines, and I hope you guys enjoy this video and to like, to subscribe, to share, and check out the playlist, to see more comment down below. Now let's start the intro.
They call me a god. They call me a god. They call me a god.
Join my membership, the perks are great. It's in the description. Be sure to like and subscribe, it gives me more motivation. Enjoy. The structure Sasuke was standing on began to give out completely. As it crumbled, before it hit the ground, Sasuke appeared with an arm around Naruto. "We've come to bring you back," Naruto said with all joking aside. Sasuke said, "I already told you, I've cut my bonds with you and the village. If you want to be Hokage, you shouldn't waste your life so carelessly on such an unimportant problem. Hey, after all these years, your eyes are still clouded. What kind of Hokage can't save his closest friend? Well, this circle of you coming after me will have to stop sometime," Sasuke said as he reached for his sword. "Even if I have to take your life myself." He pulled his sword from its sheath, spun it, and tried to his former friend. Sai intervened by stopping Sasuke's arm. "Sai," Sakura blurted, "I have to tell you something. I was originally sent here to kill Sasuke," he revealed. "But now, I want to take you back to the Leaf Village to protect the bond you share. I still don't have a very good understanding of it myself. But you, Sasuke, you should know why Naruto and Sakura chase after you with a passion." Sasuke responded, "Sure, I know, that's why I severed those bonds. I have other bonds that I carry forged through hatred. All my other bonds caused me to lose focus and weakened my strongest wish, my greatest desire." Naruto spoke up, "If that's true, then, at that time, why didn't you kill me?" Sasuke scoffed, "That doesn't matter, because now, I'll kill you at a whim." Sasuke looked to Sai and commended him on stopping him properly before sending several volts of electricity through their boss. Both fell to ground near unconscious. This was a sign that he meant business. Sasuke looked to the two remaining. It was as if he was daring them to try their luck. Not backing down, Sakura charged with the full intent of stopping Sasuke herself. With a vicious look in his eye, Sasuke was prone to attack. Realizing his intentions, Yamato threw himself in front of her and was espered through the chest. Sasuke forced Yamato back and pinned him to the wall. Sakura grabbed her axe and swung it downward. Sasuke quickly pulled his sword from Yamato and avoided having his arm cut off. He swung it at Sakura and she backed off in time to avoid having her teeth cut. Like a madwoman, she began wildly swing her giant axe about with great speed and force. Unfortunately for her, it wasn't good enough. With a slight opening, Sasuke rushed in and kicked her in the stomach through the rubble. He then pinned Yamato back to the wall with his Chidori sword. The sound of Naruto shuffling to his feet in an awkward manner caught his attention and he locked eyes with him. Naruto found himself in the familiar wet and dreary place in front of a giant cage. He slowly met with giant eyes behind the cage as water sped everywhere. "So, Kit, you're here again. Tell me, who do you want to kill?" After a brief moment, Naruto said, "No one." What are you saying, Kit?" It questioned as it bubbled up before him. "Other than before, when I really wanted to kill that bastard Orochimaru, I won't be using your power anymore." "Oh come on, Kit, I thought that we'd become buddies over the last couple of years. That and, it's been a while since I really got to use that power, your real power, you need mine as well." "No," Naruto interjected. "No matter what happens, I'll keep you locked away. I won't let anything like the incident with my grandpa and sister, or even the one with Sakura, happen again. There's no way I'm giving you control again." The demonic fox was stunned at hearing this, but then, with an evil sneer, "You say that, but you don't believe it yourself, do you? You talk big, but you and I both know that it's just a matter of time before you fail and come crawling back to me. Why don't we just skip that and you remove the seal on my cage?" Naruto hesitated. We're in the same boat. If then so will I just want to ensure your safety as well as mine. I'll take over where you failed." Depression began to set in and Naruto began inching his way to the cage. Before he knew it, however, Sasuke appeared. "I guess you are a monster then, Naruto, more or less. This must be the monster that resides within you. The thing that gave me such a hard time last time we saw each other. Ah, so you're one of the Uchiha? Allow me to congratulate you on coming this far. It's impressive that you've become able to see me here inside Naruto. Such would be the power of that accursed Sharingan, and your forsaken ancestry. It chuckled before saying, eyes with such power and chakra even more sinister than my own, not at all unlike what I once saw in a certain Madara Uchiha. Like I know who that is, Sasuke replied. Sasuke, what are you? Sasuke placed his hand on the demon fox's nose and seriously said, there's no way I'm letting you use this power against me again. He closed his hand over the fox's nose and it dispersed in a burst of bubbles. Unbelievable. To think you'd be able to suppress my power. I may not see you again anytime soon, but I warn you, be careful around Naruto, because if you aren't, you'll be dragged beyond your limit and into a hell like no other. The fox's voice faded. Naruto was hurled from the space within himself and back to reality. He saw Sai stirring from his unconscious state, Sakura holding her stomach while trying to catch her breath, and Yamato pinned to a wall with a blade of chakra through his chest. He also saw Sasuke leering at him as he prepared to strike with his sword. With Sasuke's attention elsewhere, Yamato made his move. He caused several pieces of wood to extend from the ground, forcing Sasuke back. Sasuke swung his sword and cut the wood and refocused on Yamato, who had just completed his seals. A small dome-shaped shelter of wood sprouted from the ground and encased Sasuke. Now's when we end this, Yamato shouted to the rest of his team. The rest of the team began getting up to their feet, still in pain. They had Sasuke and all they had to do was figure a way to return him to the village. Before another action could be taken by the Leaf Shinobi, Yamato's dome cracked and from it exploded Sasuke. He jumped back to a safer distance, hopefully out of range of most of their attacks. He watched as Naruto finally stood to his feet, eyes fixated on each other. Seeing an intensity in his eyes and hearing Yamato saying that he would have to get serious, Sasuke decided to finish things here. Don't you get it, Sasuke? If you don't come back with us, then you'll have your body stolen by Orochimaru. Sasuke replied, I could care less what happens to me or the entire world as long as I get my revenge. It means everything to me. Sasuke cycled through seals and raised his hand. Naruto could feel his chakra increase. He began building his chakra but was stopped by Orochimaru saying, Now, Sasuke, don't be so hasty. Sasuke snatched his arm away from Orochimaru saying, I should finish them now. I have no reserves in Kingdom here. That isn't why I stopped you. It's just more convenient to let them live. Sasuke just leered at him. Kabuto explained, they've already eliminated one of the members of Akatsuki. If we allow them to live, then they will, more than likely, defeat more of Akatsuki and make it easier for you to get to your target, Itachi. Sasuke didn't say anything but seemed to accept it. With word from Orochimaru, they departed in a cloud of smoke. Wait, Sasuke. Naruto yelled, leaping his way to where Sasuke once stood. Naruto prepared to give pursuit but Yamato stopped him. In our current condition, we don't stand a chance against Sasuke, much less Orochimaru and Kabuto as well. We have to pull back. What? Naruto turned, agitated. They haven't gone far. We can still catch them. No. You're a Chunin and even if you weren't, I'm sure you'd understand the risks that come along with going after them. If we make that mistake, we'll undoubtedly yes. This seemed to sink in. Naruto didn't want to let this opportunity to slip by, but his captain had a point. If they continued pursuing Sasuke at this point, there was no guarantee that, even with his power, Naruto could protect them all. He reluctantly jumped down and returned to the sides of his teammates. Looking at Naruto's expression, Sakura tried to rekindle his spirit. Even though we failed this time, we can't let it stop us. I told you before that we'd get Sasuke back together and we will. Together we'll get stronger, and one day, we'll definitely rescue Sasuke and bring him home. She stated with a single tear running down her cheek. Sai smiled and said, 3's better than 2, obviously, I'm pretty strong myself, you know. Naruto looked at them for a moment before agreeing. Though he agreed to let it go for now, Naruto was still pissed. He asked for a moment alone and entered back into Orochimaru's wrecked lair to release his frustrations. He disappeared into the darkness and for a moment there was nothing. All of a sudden, the darkness was illuminated with blue light and an earth-shaking explosion. The lair began to crumble. Naruto. Sakura yelled, trying to run in after him. The openings caved in, as did the rest of the lair. Sakura became concerned. Everything was crumbling and she hadn't seen a sign of Naruto. She was about to burst her way through the debris, but a word from Naruto stopped her. He was currently on top of the crumbling lair, telling the others that he was ready to go, blonde hair and all, spewing a small puff of smoke from his mouth. The Leaf, the Hyugas and the rest of Team Kurenai, minus the woman herself, had made it home as evening was setting in. They were greeted as they entered the gates and continued their conversation. "Are you sure you're okay with this, Hinata?" Kiba asked. I'm not sure," she answered, "but I don't want to have any regrets." A shadowy figure skulked about, following Hinata's group. "The decision to delay your answer is foolish, but if it's what you want until you tie up loose ends, then I will support you," Hiashi stated. "Father, it's better this way because it would mean that you have no distractions, and it means that I still have some time with my complete family," he then said before walking off as if he hadn't. The hidden figure decided to make their move. It jumped from the shadows right at Hinata. At the last second, she picked up on the presence of another. Instinctively, she activated her chakra shield and the figure splattered against it like a bird on a streak-free window. It then dropped to the ground on its back, giving the group a better view. "Is that?" Neji started. "Yuki." Hinata finished. Kiba laughed up a storm at the sight of her out on the ground and the replay of the moment that led to it. Still a little out of it, Yuki sat up. She finally realized that she was met with the hot gaze of Hinata and company. She also noticed that Kiba was having the time of his life, laughing so hard that he was ready to cough up his lungs. She growled and was about to jump on him, but Hinata spoke. I'm sorry, Yuki. I had no idea that it was you. I just reacted," she explained. "It's all right," Yuki assured with a smile on her face. "What were you up to?" Neji asked. Still smiling, Yuki told them, "My brother's out on a mission and everyone else is so busy. I'm so bored. The village is rather large, surely there's something you could have found to keep yourself preoccupied," Shino stated. "That's just the thing, there's so much in this village, but I can't think of anything fun other than getting into mischief. Without my brother or Sakura around, I've done nothing but get into trouble. I've been yelled at so many times by Granny Tsunade for so many things, like bothering Kakashi-sensei in the hospital, persuading guys to give me free things, and the worst was when I wouldn't let her have her alone time." Kiba stopped laughing to catch his breath and say, "You're nothing but a nuisance, you know, you're even worse than Naruto all those years ago." Yuki childishly stuck out her tongue at him and puffed up her cheeks. She then ignored him and anything else he might have had to say. "Anyway," she continued, "I'm so glad to see you." She hugged Hinata. "Why, you are. Yeah. I've been looking forward to catching up and having fun with you," she exclaimed as her eyes sparkled. "Oh, okay," Hinata nervously agreed. What do you want to do?" With an almost evil light glint in her eye, Yuki proclaimed, "I say we have a girls' spa day tomorrow. We'll go all over the village and try this and that, and then we'll top it off with a trip to the bathhouse." What had Hinata gotten herself into? The next day, Yuki showed up at the Hyuga estate bright and early. She let Hinata and Hanabi get dressed before she dragged them out on the town. Before the fun could start, however, Hinata had to check in with her master. They headed for the Hokage Tower and to the Hokage's office. Tsunade opted for Hinata to take the day off and that instead of her, she'd have some help from Yuki. Slyly, Yuki argued, "All right, Grandma, I'll give you a hand with whatever you need. Any errand you want me to run, I'll just create a shadow clone to do it so that I can keep you company all day long. You won't have a moment to yourself." "Have fun, girls," Tsunade granted as she smiled and waved them off. In disbelief that the Hokage had been bested by the young girl so easily, the girls left to begin the day together. They started with just looking around but decided to stop in at some shops. They tried different hairstyles and several outfits, many being fairly embarrassing to Hinata. Hinata refused to buy any of these embarrassing and provocative clothes, and then the three took a time out for lunch. After a surprising amount of stacked plates of food, at least to Hanabi, they got back out there. Unsure of what else to do, or what other cutely embarrassing things she could get Hinata to do, Yuki decided to wing it. The next interesting place that they came to would be the next activity they tried. It just so happens that the next place that caught Yuki's big blue eyes was the public bathhouse. Hanabi inquired. But, we have a more private one back home. I'm sure it would be alright if. Hinata was cut off by Yuki grabbing her and her sister by their wrists. She dragged them inside and that's all she wrote. Yuki wouldn't take no for an answer now, even when it came to Hinata undressing herself. Yuki and a couple of clones pinned Hinata to the floor and forcefully undressed her. Before anything could be said or done, Hinata had no article of clothing and had no choice but to wrap herself with a towel. Reluctant, she followed Yuki and her sister into the bath. The water was nice and relaxing. It was rather enjoyable, or it would have been had it not been for a handful of girls and women staring in Hinata's direction. This made her a bit uncomfortable, and the worst was Yuki, who appeared to be thoroughly awising her chest. It was late in the afternoon when Team Kakashi finally returned. Naruto and Sakura seemed happy to be back. It's nice to be back, Sakura said. I hope Yuki wasn't too upset that we left her here alone. Yeah, I'm glad to be back too, Naruto said, but thought, why do I have the feeling that I'm gonna have trouble for the problems she probably caused? Yamato left to report to the Hokage and Sakura offered to accompany him since she was heading there herself. See you guys later, be nice to each other and get along, okay, she teased. Naruto nervously smiled at this suggestion. He kept it up as she got further and further away. Sai saw this and became curious. Naruto, you like Sakura, don't you? He asked. Naruto raised an inquiring eyebrow. Sai then asked, do you love Sakura? Naruto looked awkwardly shocked. Far, he questioned in disbelief. It's just, you always smile around her. I read in a book that this was a sign that someone liked another. Have you ever told her how you feel? For a while, Naruto didn't say anything. Then, even if I do, it wouldn't be right because then I'd be abandoning my promise. He then walked off, leaving Sai to his own devices and a state of confusion. He walked through the village in search for something to satisfy his rumbling tummy. He picked up on a familiar chakra signature close by and headed there. There he found Yuki standing outside the bathhouse. She noticed him as well and ran to greet him with a flying hug. So, what have you been up to? He asked. Yuki's eyes drifted to the side as she avoided eye contact. Oh, a little of this, a little of that, she tiptoed around the truth. She turned to see Naruto leering at her. She didn't know how long she could hold out if he kept it up. She was just about to crack when Naruto began sniffing her. What are you doing, brother? After sniffing her a little more, Naruto replied, you've got another scent on you, one that I'm sure I've smelled before, he pondered. With a wicked smile on her face, Yuki said, so you recognize this scent, huh? You must have taken in a mighty big whiff, she taunted as she knew who this specific scent belonged to. Naruto noticed that the scent had grown stronger with a slight breeze, but it came from behind. Yuki, what did you do with my clothes? Why did you leave this? Naruto quickly turned and there stood a surprised Hinata. Hinata was beyond embarrassed to be seen like this. Instead of being fully clothed in her comfortable baggy clothes, she had to wear some that was left behind by Yuki as a surprise gift or some cruel joke. She wore a white skirt long enough to cover her thighs halfway, but, since she had such short sandals, she showed a lot more leg than she was comfortable with. Her top was better. At least it properly covered her, but it was so tight. It was a small blue, sleeveless kimono tied with a white sash and designs of a curling wind. She was afraid that if she even blinked the wrong way she would bust out, and what made the situation worse was that one of the people in the entire world that she feared to see her this way was right in front of her. Naruto. She awkwardly stuttered. Not once but twice had Naruto seen Hinata, out of character. First was the form-fitting robe from her grandma's village, and now this. What if he got the wrong idea of her, that she was the kind of girl that flaunted her body to get attention? I didn't expect to see you here, Naruto exclaimed. What are you up to? Hinata shakily began. We're having a girls' day out, Hanabi finished. Oh, well, have fun, Naruto told him as he turned to leave. Hinata hesitated but called out, Naruto, wait. He turned back around as she reached for him, and her sash untied and her top flapped open. Everyone was speechless as they got an eyeful of a black bra and cleavage they had never seen before. As soon as she realized, Hinata tried her best to cover up. How embarrassing, she blushed. She was afraid of what Naruto might think of her now. Maybe he thought that she thought she could only get his attention by flashing him a little. She didn't want him to think of her that way. Her eyes were closed tightly, but she peeked up at Naruto, whose back was turned. She was beginning to panic because she couldn't tell what he was thinking. Yuki was chuckling at the situation. Hinata busted out of the cute little outfit she had gotten her as a present, and now her big brother had turned away from the sight with a blush and a nosebleed to match. It was surely something to see. Naruto. Before she could say anything, Naruto untied his sash, pulled off his black vest, and unzipped his hooded white shirt. Hinata's eyes widened at this action. She hadn't seen him shirtless since that time during the Chunin exams, and even then it was an impressive sight. Her entire face was engulfed in a crimson blush as Naruto handed her his shirt. She graciously accepted this gesture and slipped on Naruto's shirt as he shyly shifted his gaze from her. I can't get up. Hinata struggled to stand. Oh. Hey, I forgot that my shirts are weighted, Naruto realized and sheepishly chuckled. Here, he offered to help her after putting his vest on. Naruto squatted down in front of her, signaling Hinata to climb onto his back. Timidly, Hinata did so. She continued blushing as she put her arms around Naruto's neck and he locked his arms around her legs as he stood. She couldn't remember a time she had ever been so close to him. She wanted to nuzzle the back of his warm end but fought the urge to be so aggressive. She was snapped from these kinds of thoughts by the loud growling of what she assumed to be a pack of vicious beasts. Hey, looks like it's dinner time, Naruto and Yuki grinned. It is getting dark, what should we do? Hanabi asked. The second she did, Naruto and Yuki looked at each other with the same thing in mind. They were about to outburst, but Naruto stopped to ask Hinata and Hanabi what they wanted instead. They left the choice up to Naruto and Yuki, and so. Ramen. Yuki happily exclaimed. The group made their way to Ichiraku's ramen stand, Naruto carrying Hinata the entire way. Naruto sat her on a stool and sat on one beside her. She had a hard time moving even a little bit. Naruto, I'm sorry I was such a burden that you had to carry me, was I heavy? No, he responded. I often forgot you were there until I remembered that your arms and legs were around me, he smiled at her. You're here again, Naruto, and I see you brought your sister. And this must be, Tsuki, the owner, paused as he looked at the Hyuga sisters. Your girlfriend and her sister, he jokingly pried. Naruto and Hinata's faces turned bright red at this. Hanabi and Yuki, however, were amused by it. Yuki was greatly pleased by what the owner said and Naruto and Hinata's reactions. She had a big broad smile on her face and fought the urge to laugh. Naruto was going to object to the owner's train of thought but didn't due to Yuki impatiently placing her order. Hanabi followed and then a still blushing Naruto. His gaze shifted to a blushing Hinata who looked lost in thought as she stared at her hands in her lap. She then snapped her and shakily placed her order. Okay, your order will be ready shortly, Naruto and his cute girlfriend, Ayami playfully teased. She's not. Naruto refrained from finishing this sentence after a slight glance over to Hinata, who was back to blushing and shyly avoiding eye contact. He shut his trap and sort of pouted in his seat. Yuki was loving this. This had been the best day ever, and if this kept up, it would just get better. They were served their food, but Hinata struggled to feed herself. Yuki was about to nudge Naruto to help her out, but Hanabi offered to feed her before she could. The group ate mostly in silence with only the sound of slurping and the odd stares coming from Ayami at the lovely couple. The uncomfortable situation was finally diffused, somewhat, by the arrival of more customers. With this, the group could finally fully enjoy their meal. After a few bowls of ramen between them, the group sighed in satisfaction. Suddenly there was a creaking sound. Hinata felt her seat shift, and then, it gave out. She began to fall but found herself in the arms of Naruto before she knew it. Naruto. He sighed, I was afraid that this was gonna happen. What? Hanabi inquired. My clothes are pretty heavy, enough to break a branch from a tree. If its weight isn't counted while sitting in a seat like this, the seat'll break, he said as he hoisted her up, bridal style. He then continued, I'm sorry about this, old man. I'll pay for it. Oh. Think nothing of it, Naruto. I'll take care of it, Yuki said. But at least let me. No, I won't hear of it. Your money's no good here, he waved him off. After his offer to pay for everything was declined, Naruto and his group reluctantly left. Hinata had a big blush on her cheeks because Naruto still held her in his arms. She remained quiet as she listened to the beating of his heart. It was nice and gentle as was Naruto himself. She nuzzled into his warm chest and drifted off. There was a clearing through a group of trees. In the center of the clearing was a small hill and on it stood a figure. It was N.A. Naruto, Hinata muffled. He didn't hear her. She called out once more, N.A. Naruto. She sounded distorted. This time, it seemed he heard her. He turned his gaze from the cloudy sky to look at Hinata. That's when it happened. A massive bolt of lightning crashed on the hill. Hinata was horrified. She could no longer see Naruto. Naruto. She cried. Naruto. N.A. Naruto. Hinata squirmed while muffling herself in Naruto's chest. Hey, Hinata, are you alright? Naruto asked as she woke. What happened? She hazily asked. You were calling out my brother's name in your sleep. Hinata looked up at a concerned Naruto and, out of the blue, began nuzzling him even more. Naruto didn't know how to react as she managed to get her arms around his N. Here was a girl squeezing the life out of him in a hug, but he didn't understand why. He tried to ask about it, but Hiashi showed up asking himself. They didn't get an explanation, but they finally pried Hinata off of a blushing Naruto. Before they split, Hinata asked if she could see Naruto the next day. Unsure of what she might want, he agreed out of curiosity. On the way home, Yuki had the time of her life teasing Naruto about the day and his upcoming date. The next day, Naruto woke to the sounds of someone knocking at his bedroom door. He got up to answer it but noticed his tails were snagged. Without hesitation, he yanked them and Yuki rolled onto the floor with a hard thud. Outside the door stood Sakura, growing more irritated by the second. She knocked harder and harder until it was no longer knocking. She banged on the door waiting for a response. When none came, she punched the door down and there, on the floor in the center of the room were Naruto and Yuki. He was on his back trying to fight off Yuki, who had a mouthful of his arm. Naruto. Sakura roared as she stomped into the room. A few bonks on the head straightened things out. She then stomped out saying, "We have to report to the Hokage's office right away. We have a mission." "What? But I have something to do," Naruto groaned. "Then hurry up and do it before we leave," Sakura growled. Naruto got dressed and headed to the Hokage's office. There, he and his team were informed of their new mission and dismissed. He hurried out of the building and to the Hyuga estate. He found Hinata in her blue baggy clothes having target practice with Hiashi supervising. "Bullseye," Naruto announced, making his presence known. "Oh, Naruto," she said surprised. I wasn't expecting to see you until later. That's kind of what I wanted to talk to you about. You see, I won't be able to see you later. I have a mission and so." A little disappointed, Hinata said, That's fine, maybe we can see each other when you get back." Naruto agreed and left on his mission. A series of rapid footsteps echoed through the dark, damp tunnels. They belonged to a single kunoichi being chased by two strange men in black and red cloaks. Having had enough with running away, she turned to face her pursuers. "Yugito ni, host of the two-tailed beast, come with us," the tall guy with his mouth covered said. "TCH. As if," she retorted. Yugito was a kunoichi of the Cloud Village. She stood 5 feet 5 inches with blonde hair wrapped into a single long ponytail. She wore a short-sleeved shirt in which the shoulders and arm were black while the body was light purple. Under her black fingerless gloves and shoes, she had bandages up to her elbows with beads around her left. She had long dark pants, with a design on the left leg, that stopped just above her ankles and shoes. "Let's do it, Hidden," he told his light-haired partner. "Hold on," Hidden responded while pulling out a beaded end lace. "I gotta make sure I pray first. You drive me nuts with those stupid prayers you're always doing." "Hey, I don't like 'em either, but the commandments of my faith is very strict about this stuff." In his hand was a 3-bladed scythe on a line. He whirled it around before directing it at Yugito. She quickly jumped to avoid it. "You've got some moves there," Hidden commented. But that isn't saying much since my attacks are the slowest in Akatsuki and the least scared. I seriously can't hit anything. I see, so you two are from Akatsuki, Yugito concluded. You're the only one left, the masked guy informed her. Then let's get this over with, Hiden grinned. Don't let your guard down, Hiden, otherwise you'll end up S. No need to tell me that, Kakazu, I want her to K me, just to get it over with, seriously. Then let's get on with it, demanded with agitation in his voice. Hey, you think it'll be that east? You think you've cornered me? Well, that's not the case. You see, I lured you here, she announced as she signaled a few explosive tags. The tags went off and caused the tunnels to collapse behind the two, trapping them with Yugito. With a fierce look in her eyes, she said, now that I know you're with Akatsuki, I can't let you go. Oh look, Kakazu, she's trapped us like rats, Hiden sarcastically stated. That's actually for the best. It makes things easier for us since there's no escape for her and no chance for backup. Hearing the duo's confidence began to anger Yugito. I swear that I will K you. Obviously agitated, Hiden ranted, huh? What's that? You'll K us. It really pisses me off when people scream out battle cries like that. And when I get pissed, I get all hot-headed, and when that happens, Kakazu tried to get him to be quiet but he kept on, but when I get hot, I stop caring about our objectives and start wanting to cause some serious damage. I said that's enough, Hiden, we can't go against our orders. This assignment we've been given really goes against my beliefs. S is the core of the Jashin faith. I just can't leave someone half S, I just can't get motivated to do things that require me to go against the commandments. I may not look it, but I'm a very religious guy. So, you know, not King you would totally suck, so can't we just talk about this? How about you just roll over and let us capture you? Yugito scowled at Hiden's proposal. As if she would just roll over and S. She hunched over and from her body sprang two chakra tails immediately. I guess that's a no, Hiden concluded. How stupid can you be? Kakazu remarked at his partner's goof. Yugito transformed into a giant menacing cat-like demon of chakra. The air around them became uncomfortable. Without warning, it leapt at them. It swiped at him, but Kakazu managed to block it himself. What's with this one? Hiden asked. It turned completely into its beast. Kakazu had no time to answer since he was preoccupied at the moment. The moment was up when he was crushed through the ground. With Kakazu pinned, the beast turned on Hiden. Oh, he said as fire began to build in its mouth. As it launched the attack, Hiden jumped out of its path. The giant fireball continued and blew out the wall and caused the ceiling to cave in. Managing to save himself and now hiding behind a large chunk of ceiling, Hiden, with burnt and tattered clothing, remarked, "Ho, ot. Cat didn't get my tongue, but it nearly roasted my ass." He peeked from his hiding place and thought, so this is the two-tailed monster said to be the living spirit of vengeance. With the way things are right now, I guess I really am like a rat trapped down here. Hey, it's kinda funny. Wanting to get this assignment over with, he jumped from his hiding place and charged the giant demon with his scythe in hand. The two-tailed beast prepared to launch another massive fireball but was distracted by something wrapping around its arm. Threads made their way over the beast and began entangling it. It thrashed and flailed about trying to get free. In doing so, it knocked Hiden away, scratching him and drawing blood with its claws. He crashed into the rubble with pools of blood de-sping along the way. He dug himself out as the beast was being overcome by countless threads. Hiden grabbed his scythe, which was de-sping with blood, and drew a symbol on the ground. He stood in its center and licked the blood from his scythe. His skin darkened with markings that resembled the skeletal structure appearing on it. He now looked like a reaper. He pulled a pike and, after an insane laugh, thrust it into his own body one good time. He shivered and shook until he fell to the ground. The two-tailed beast began to regress. It changed back to Yugito, still in the grip of the threads. She couldn't explain how it happened, but Yugito could feel a sharp pain in her chest. She even coughed up blood. She struggled to get herself free from the threads. Seeing that she was still moving around, Kakazu, using his threads, slammed her to the ground and against anything else he could in hopes of knocking her unconscious, but not killing her. Even through the breaking bones and the cracking of her skull, Yugito managed to remain conscious. Still squirming, Kakuzu took a rod from the debris and pinned her to the wall by her hands. The pain was too much for her, and Yugito finally lost consciousness. Hidden lay in the center of the symbol he drew on the ground, and after 30 minutes, his skin turned back to normal. Kakuzu tried to hurry him, but he argued that his ceremony couldn't be interrupted. It was bad enough that he wasn't allowed to K this time. Do you have to do those long weird prayers? Can't you skip it for once? Kakuzu said while looking at a map. We have to capture one more. I don't like it either, but it's part of my religion so I have to. Skipping it would be blasphemous. Whatever, we've still got one left, we'll have to search thoroughly, through the fire country. That will be all for this video. Be sure to like, subscribe, share, and comment down below for more videos. Goodbye.